The Independent National Electoral Commission has announced the commencement of the 2025 continuous voter registration exercise nationwide. Now, INEC encourages eligible citizens to participate in the CVR exercise to ensure they can exercise their right to vote in future elections. However, there are concerns, mostly around low completion rate, technical issues, and multiple registration. Well, joining me right now to discuss this and more is Rotimi Oyenkanmi, the Chief Press Secretary for the INEC chairman. It's great to have you, sir. All right, let me, before we get into the CVR, just a while ago, the first segment of the program, we had some members of the Labour Party who have an issue with INEC. Now, the purported faction, alleges that INEC has entered into an unconstitutional coalition with political figures, including Peter Obi, the Abia State Governor Alex Oti, the NLC President Joe Ajero. And at the heart of this controversy is INEC's decision to exclude, according to them, Labour Party candidates from the upcoming August 16 by-elections, a move the party is saying lacks legal or moral basis. I would like you to put some clarity and context to this allegation. They are even calling for the resignation of the chairman, just like we heard in the first half of the show.
Thank you very much. I would rather not want to comment on the issue of Labour Party because this matter is before the commission. And I don't want to say anything that will preempt the commission. But I just want to state that the commission is not, pandering to the side of any of the factions. In fact, if there is anything we want right now is for all the factions to come together and unite so that we can have a vibrant Labour Party. But the Labour Party's issue is not what I would like to go into at this point.
All right. Thank you for that. Let's move away slightly and talk about the CVR, which, of course, there are some, we know it has commenced, but there are some concerns as regards it. And part of it has to do with the issue of multiple registration, which some have pointed out. What are the measures put in place to ensure some of these issues are tackled, from technical to human error, to ensure that we have a smooth and better process compared to previous years?
Thank you so much. We've learned a lot of lessons in the various CVR exercises that we have carried out over the past 10 years. And in 2023, for instance, we learned a great lesson and we deployed technology. And that technology enabled us, we call it deduplication. After the registration of voters, we get the raw data, and then we subject the data to deduplication. What does that mean? It means that we run it through our system, and our system will pick out fingerprints, facials, and names and dates of birth that are similar. So it was easy for us to discover those who have registered before and who registered again. So that application in our system was able to isolate all those who registered more than once. And of course, by the time we cleaned the data, we now came up with the right number of registered voters. And we have improved on that. So for this coming CVR, we are even deploying more sophisticated innovations to ensure that those who registered twice will not be able to slip through. But of course, we also want to appeal to Nigerians. First of all, they need to understand that double registration is an offense under our laws. And we will not want Nigerians to run foul of it. If you have registered before, you will be able to get your PVC. If you go on our website, you go to the PCV locator, you type in your details, your date of birth, and all other details that the system will request for. You will be able to locate where your PVC is. Because once you have registered, once we have captured your fingerprint, your date of birth, your data generally, and your facials, your details will pop up if you register again.
All right. Now, talking about data, we have some data here. I would like that to come up on the screen. We know that over the years, what we've seen is we see people register And then there are also
Right.
issues of collection too, which comes up. But just like what we have on the screen, just a rough spread, highest number of registered voters and PVCs collected by states. We have some states there. And you can see for Bauchi, for instance, 90%, Anambra 98, Katsina 98. And so we see, variance in multiplicity of those numbers. But this is where I'm going with this. Permit me to use, for instance, what we saw with some of the local government elections and even state elections, the issue of voter apathy. Voter apathy. We see these big numbers register, sometimes even bigger numbers collecting their PVCs. But when it comes to election days, the number seems to be low when it comes to turnout. And when you ask, the issue of trust, comes up. So I want to put it to you because Nigeria will soon enter its electioneering season. What is the commission doing to boost trust and also public awareness?
Well, let me disagree with you on the issue of trust. I don't think it is a matter of trust, and I will break it down for you. When you listen to the narratives of those who criticize the commission unfairly, you are tempted to move away with these kinds of narrative. But let us look at the issues. First of all, we have the law that says that you can only vote where you registered. And for that reason, if you register in Lagos and for any reason whatsoever, you find yourself in another state, in fact, in another local government in Lagos, assuming you registered in Lagos Island local government and you find yourself in Ikorodu local government, on the day of election, you will not be able to vote. Therefore, you will have all the men of the armed forces that are, making security available on election day, INEC staff, and all those who are probably the INEC ad hoc staff, the members of the National Youth Service Corps, all those, even you journalists that you'll be deployed. For instance, you are deployed outside where you registered. You cannot vote. And that's why we are talking about early voting right now. So that law for me is fundamental, that people are not able to vote anywhere. There is a reason for that, and that reason is valid because, again, when you put a law in place, it is intended to solve a problem. But, unfortunately, when you solve a problem, you create another one. So that is that. Number two is that if you look worldwide, less and less people are voting in elections, not just in Nigeria, but worldwide. So would you say that it's also a matter of trust in those places? No. And then when you look at the types of election, from our own experience, people tend to vote more in major elections like the presidential election or the governorship election. We don't organize the local government election. INEC organizes.
Mr. Oyenkanmi, we seem to have lost connection with you. But of course, while we're still trying to connect, let's have those data come up again so Nigerians understand. Okay, I think we have you back. Can you hear me, sir? Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you now. Did you hear all what I said?
Yes, we just lost you at the point of where you were trying to establish that INEC doesn't, organize the local government elections.
I was explaining that when you take the elections by segments, you discover that more people tend to vote during presidential elections, followed by governorship election. But when you come to local government elections, people don't vote. And I want to state it clearly because some people don't know. INEC does not organize local government election in the states. The states have their own electoral commission that organize local government election. However, INEC organizes the area council elections in the FCT only. And even our own experience shows that many people don't come out to vote during FCT area council election. But if you measure the turnout in presidential election, if you measure the turnout in governorship election, you find that more people come out. So that's another thing. Well, you can talk of trust, but let me also tell you something. Watch this continuous voter registration. And if people don't trust INEC, the question is, why do they come out to register? Why? For 2019 general election, we had 84 million voters. For 2023 general election, we we had over 93 million voters. You know, at any point in time, people come out to vote. But remove the encumbrance of being able to vote where you registered, and you will see that many more people will vote. And of course, we are talking of diaspora voting. Those who live abroad have also said that they contribute to the economic development of Nigeria, and they are also stakeholders. They have their own wishes that they want the country to take into cognizance, that we should make a law to enable them to vote. If you bring that law on, and then you also amend the law to enable people vote anywhere with proper security in place, I'm sure turnout will go up.
All right, still on voting, part of our headline story when we started the show is the fact that we know that the Independent National Electoral Commission and the Nigerian Correctional Center are strengthening ties to ensure inmates can vote during election. I mean, this was elaborately discussed at a recent meeting. I'd like you to speak more on that and its practicability and what Nigerians maybe should be looking forward to.
Thank you very much. The Controller General of the Correctional Service visited INEC today to discuss the possibility of having inmates vote during election. And it was a welcome development. We were happy with that. But we have also been making efforts in the past to make sure that inmates vote, because those who are in custody can be divided into two. We have those who are awaiting trial, and we have those who are serving a term for whatever they have done. In fact, the Controller General talked about having 81,000 inmates all over the country, and about 66% of that are awaiting trial. So now, there was a Federal High Court judgment in Benin in 2014, I think, that, you know, some inmates, about 4 or 5 of them went to court to demand that they be allowed to vote. And the judgment was in their favor, that efforts should be made to allow them to vote. And the Court of Appeal in Saint Benin reiterated that fact. But look at the situation. First of all, we don't have polling units over there. We have to establish polling units. Then there is something in the law that says that those who can vote are those who don't have any legal encumbrances, that if you are not a convicted person, and so on and so forth. We also have to take that into cognizance. Then, of course, the normal issues with elections. Political parties and their candidates will have to campaign. Will they allow us to campaign in the prisons? Then, of course, the media, the observers will have to observe. Will the prisons allow them to come in? So these are the complications. Then, of course, if you have to take a prisoner out of the prison to go and vote at a polling unit, the security issues around that, who is going to deal with that?
All right, Mr. Oyenkanmi, we'll definitely come back to that, but we need to go on a quick break. When we return, we, of course, will be taking our final thoughts on this. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Many thanks for staying with us. It's still Politics HQ on News Central Television. I still have my guest, Mr. Rotimi Oyenkanmi, is the Chief Press Secretary for the INEC, or to the INEC Chairman. Thank you for staying with me, sir. In 30 seconds, I mean, what would be your final comments as regards the issue of the CVR and its accessibility for Nigerians? 30 seconds.
Thank you very much. On 18th August, we are going to commence the online registration. So Nigerians will have an opportunity, like the last time in 2022-21, to go to our portal and register. And then on August 25, we'll follow with in-person registration. So I want to encourage Nigerians to please come out and register so that they can access their permanent voter cards and use that to exercise their franchise in any election that they wish to participate in. It's their right, and I think if you have a right, there is nothing stopping you from exercising it.
All right, thank you so much for your time. Mr. Rotimi, it's been a pleasure having you on the program this evening. Once again, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
All right. This, of course, is where we drop the curtains. Thank you so much for being a part of it. In case you missed out, you can catch up on our YouTube platform. That's at News Central TV. You can also follow us on social media. The handle is there on your screen. You can follow me personally at Dakpo at Digboye. Until I come your way again, good night.